in this program by the host or guests do not state or reflect those of the company, its management, sponsors, or any entities they represent.
Oh, it's lit. We prime time. Subscribe, like, and share. Give us your feedback. Yo, I'm Manny at the plate and Kobe off a steal. Gretzky for the goal and Brady at the wheel. I'm a game changer, the Osaka of the tennis, and breaking scoreboards. Simone of the Olympics, defense and big business. The Mayweather who way better. From the greatness of Jim Brown, I've been down. Talking sports before I was off the porch. Screaming Bo knows while Jordan was playing horse. Late 80s getting torched by the drive and the shot. 2016 got a ring off the three in the block. They eased to forgot the cardiac kids. Price and Doherty, Bell in the Indian years. This who it is. Your host DeeTrynt, yo, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer. Yo, your host DeeTrynt, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer.
Right back, ain't cheating. DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, InDaStreetzSportz, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. Follow us on IG at InDaStreetzSportz or at DeeTrynt. If you missed the live broadcastings, you can subscribe, follow, like, share on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and various other streaming platforms. Just look for InDaStreetzSportz, follow, like, subscribe, share. Then you'll see DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk. Like, subscribe, share. We also got the InDaStreetzSportz.com sports page. Make sure you get hip to that. I know we were just talking about the Cavs, but, you know, it's Cleveland. So now we talk about draft time. Cleveland Browns in the draft time, right? You know, Cleveland had a pretty good season. Walked away with Defensive Player of the Year, Assistant Coach of the Year, Coach of the Year. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, they went down in the playoffs and got thrashed by the Houston Texans, who improved this year as well. Now we draft, right? Browns only had like 6 picks, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth. I don't know if they got. They might have 1 in the fourth. Yeah, 1 in the fourth. They might have 1 in the fifth. We finding all that out right now, all right? Because I've been kind of lightweight out of touch. So we about to get back in touch together, all right? Today, we about to find out what's going on with these Browns. You know, now it's draft time, so we gonna go over recently, right? Let's start recently and go back, all right? The Cleveland Browns have picked the number 22 pick in the second round, the number 21 pick in the third round. They did not have a 4th round pick. They have the number 21 pick in the 5th round, the 30th pick in the 6th round, the 7th and 23rd picks in the 7th round. All right. So with the 22 pick in the second round, because that happened yesterday, the Browns selected. Oh no, wait. I might as well do it now. The Browns selected defensive tackle Michael Hall Jr., right? 6'3", 290 pounds on NFL, on ESPN's rank, because this is what I'm looking at, the ESPN.com. ESPN got him ranked 7th in position, 65th overall, a grade rank of 80. I mean, he's a hometown kid, right? You know, home state kid, played for the whole state Buckeyes. You know, we love them Buckeyes. OHO, you know how I go, you know what I'm saying? So, but you know, the Browns do need a young defensive tackle that'll grow and could definitely grow up under these veterans that we have alongside Dalvin Tomlinson and Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, who was returned, Obaniah Okoronkwo, who will be back as well. You got Alex Wright down there. You got McGuire. You got Ika. You got Hurst. You got Jefferson that they brought over. You got Shelby Harris who came back. So you need a young guy down there that'll turn out after you whiffed on Jordan Phillips. I mean, not Jordan Phillips. Is it Jordan Phillips? No. Jordan Elliott is his name. It was a draft pick from a few years ago. He didn't pan out. A couple other guys we brought in, they didn't pan out. So I'm not mad at the pick, right? Then yesterday, with their final pick of the day, they drafted offensive guard Zach Zinter, 6'6", 309 pounds from Michigan. Did Michigan win a championship this year? Yeah, Michigan won the ship. Yeah. So from the championship, Michigan Wolverines. All right. His position rank was fifth. His overall rank is 122, and his grade rank is 67. He's supposed to be very strong in the run game, and should be able to develop in the passing game. But he definitely adds depth to an offensive line guard set that has Joe Batonio and Wyatt Teller starting. And when you get to the backups, it does get kind of cloudy. We've had Miller, was that Miller over here, and Forbes, and Blank Hands, and a few guys. But for the most part, with Pochich and Harris and Whippler from last year playing that center spots, the guard spot has really been held down a lot by Wyatt Teller and Joe Batonio. But picking this guy is cool because getting Whippler the year before, right, and saying that he gonna develop into a potential starting center, knowing you still got Pojic for at least this year and next year, but at least this year, right? And then you got to make a decision on Wyatt Teller after this year and Joe Batonio. So you get this guy, he comes in and he's able to learn and develop. I'm definitely with that, right? 6'6" is a great size. We're gonna run a spread offense, so getting guys that can move and attack is definitely going to help. A lot of trap plays, a lot of spreads, a lot of different things. So this lines up, in my opinion, and you can never have too much interior depth. I'm not gonna hold you. Having interior depth is a thing. DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, Industry Sports, streaming live on multiple media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Uh, also, follow us on IG at Industry Sports or at DeeTrynt. From wherever you're viewing it from live, you should see a link in the box. You can get in here, chop it up with us. Let us know, how you feel about the draft and what the Browns got going on. Um, right now, I'm just kind of just going over the draft picks and things like that and what we have. Our latest draft pick in the fifth round is receiver Jamari Thrash from Louisville. Uh, I'm looking at some of his highlights now, and hey man, running the spread offense in the NFL, you got to have a multitude of receivers that do different things, and I think this guy definitely will bring something different to the table for what the other receivers have brought us. Hold on right quick, though. Give me a second, y'all. Let me get my share on right quick. You know what I'm saying? Pause for a little brief intermission right quick. Let me get my share on. But if you see the link, definitely hit it. You know what I'm saying? Give me a couple seconds right quick. All right, we back. DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, Industry Sports, streaming on multiple media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Follow us on IG at DeeTrynt or at Industry Sports. Subscribe to the InDaStreetzSportz.com sports page on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Get the latest articles and things like that. Right now, we talking NFL draft, specifically Browns draft. But, we going to cover a little bit more other than just the Browns part of the draft. All right? Before the little long intermission, I had to get my share on, you know what I'm saying, give them a little advertisement on and stuff like that. So excuse me and thank for everybody who waited patiently till I came back around and started talking again. All right. So now we talking about the Browns draft picks. We covered the three selections that they made already a little bit, right? So the first selection was the defensive tackle Michael Hall. That was day two, round two. Then in round three, they got the guard, 6'6" from Michigan. And then they got the wide receiver, Thrash, 6 feet, 188, 22 overall position rank according to ESPN, 140 overall rank, 62 grade. Definitely a guy who could get in the end zone. Now, the receiver room has been a hot button subject when it comes to uh, the Browns, right? Everybody is very, very much anxious to see what Kevin Stefanski and Deshaun Watson can really become as a unit, right? What can they turn this Browns offense into? Being that last year, we can say that defense really blossomed, right, under the direction of Jim Schwartz. It seems like over the offseason, we've gotten different videos and different instances where, Kevin Stefanski and Deshaun Watson seem to be very much on the same page. They brought in offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey. Uh, they came in with running backs coach Deuce Staley, and any football fan remember Deuce Staley, right? Um, they added a few more coaches in a few more positions. So you could tell that the offense is transforming. It's already been brought out that they're going to a spread offense. You know that as far as the running back room, Nick Chubb is rehabbing and he could be ready for the start of the season. But we all understand, it'll be a few weeks before he gets back, and even few more weeks after that before he gets back to any type of solid, comfortable form. At least in our comfort. I mean, his comfort is probably something different from where we measure it, but in our minds, right? It's a process. We only have Jerome Ford back there, but this wide receiver room, right? Amari Cooper restructured his contract, but I believe this is the last year of his deal. Uh, you have Jerry Jeudy, who we just traded for, and he got an extension. Elijah Moore. That now the interesting part about those two receivers, right? Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy. Both of them come from Alabama. Both of them we traded from their respective teams for fifth and sixth round picks. If you follow a trend, when we traded for Amari Cooper, since Amari Cooper's been on the Browns, even through the quarterback shuffle, he has arguably been the best receiver in this division, right? Even at his age and all the criticism, he's been arguably the best receiver in his position over the last 2 years in this division, right? The AFC North division. Jerry Jeudy comes from the AFC West, a top 10 pick, a guy who could stretch the field, good at route running, but he has questions, about his ability to take over games and be the guy we anticipate him to be, right? So, so but he's a shifty guy, right? He's about 6 feet, Amari about 6'1", Trajan like 5'10", 5'11", maybe, right? Then you got Elijah Moore, who's about 5'10", 5'11", right? And then you have Cedric Tillman, the young guy who they got last year from Tennessee. He's about 6'3", right? 6'2", 6'3". And then you have David Bell, who's about 6 feet, 6'1", shifty slot receiver, right? Tillman can take the top off. Not really a route runner, but he's athletic for his size, a big guy. Jerry Judy and Elijah Moore and David Bell will be considered the small, shiftier receivers, even though there's a height difference. I think David Bell may be the taller of the bunch. If I'm mistaken, I'll double check all that in a second, though. But just for a baseline of the conversation. So adding a Jamari Thrash and also still having a Michael Woods the second, who's been on the team for a couple years, but he just had an injury beginning of last year, that kept him out for the year. And he was a guy who really had good chemistry, arguably the best chemistry with Deshaun Watson so far, outside of now traded Donovan Peoples-Jones. So adding a guy to that room is cool, right? We want to see what it's going to be. Now, some people wanted different guys, right? Xavier Legette was a guy that people wanted, but he's already off the board, and he went in the first round, last pick of the first round, right? Tony Franklin is a guy people talked about, but he's gone. McConkey is a guy people talk about. He was gone. So I don't have a problem with what the Browns did so far. But moving forward, right? People gonna want to know what they're gonna do, because the pegs that we get now is just gonna be guys that's just basically in for OTAs and fill up the roster, for preseason and add competition and things like that. Maybe some dudes pan out, maybe some don't, right? Coming into the draft, I was a guy who wanted to get Edgerrin Cooper. I understood that Edgerrin Cooper might be gone by the time they actually get to 54, being that he was routed the fourth best linebacker on the board. I felt like that was a pick the Browns should have been able to got a player they should have got. But it didn't pan out that way. I think he went at like 46 or something, number 50 or something like that. He went before the Browns had a chance, right? They would have had to trade it up, and at this point, they're not in desperation mode that they had to trade up. When it comes to the linebacker position, they did bring in Devin Bush. Cops will be bringing up these highlights too, right? They did bring in Devin Bush, a top 10 pick, a guy that the Steelers traded up to get a few years back. I would say about 4 or 5 years back. 2 years into his career, which was an outstanding career. I believe he had a knee injury. I think he suffered it against us, actually. A knee injury that had him out 2020, 22, 23. He came back last year for 23, 24. No, let me rephrase that. I think it had him out for 22, 23. No, 21, 22. He missed 21, 22. He came back and played 22, 23. That's the first year off the injury. And then he played last year 23, 24. And it seemed like last year he was coming more on back, getting into his form. Now, the caveat is he's only 25 years old. So him kind of like Chubb, right? Chubb had a gruesome injury when he was young in his early 20s. And he snapped back really well and still ended up being arguably the best running back in the NFL. Devin Bush has already asserted himself as one of the better linebackers in the NFL when healthy, one of the more dominant linebackers in the NFL when healthy. And at 25 years old, it's definitely worth taking a flyer on. The NFL game is brutal, so it just depends on how he holds up. But, he has a chance, right? We also brought in the veteran Jordan Hicks from Minnesota. Guy's about 32 years old now. He's been in the league for a long time. Short tackler, could play in the box, and really can get out and has range. He's just older, right? You're trying to find a pair to go with JOK. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah has came on and established himself as potentially one of the better linebackers in the league. Definitely one of the faster, one of the more cerebral. A guy who can get sacks, a guy who can get tackles for loss, who can tackle in the upper field, can cover decent enough right now to where he is still a threat. He got some areas that he can improve, but seeing him become a Pro Bowler last year was a great sign, right? You have then Diabite, a guy who got on the Browns roster as an undrafted rookie. Was able to get a little bit of playing time going into the latter part of the season. Showed some signs of being, potentially could be a rotation guy, good on special teams. Maybe even get a little stronger, become actual, at least a substitute or maybe even a starter one day. It just depends on how his growth comes this year. But he definitely showed some good signs. And then you got Tony Fields, right? A guy that we drafted a few years ago who was a tweener, really somewhere between an outside linebacker and a strong safety because of his build, and his speed and athleticism. Every year he's been on the team, he's made an impactful play in the latter part of the season that allows us to get to the playoffs or, win a crucial game or something like that. Kind of reminds me of Sione Takitaki, who we lost this offseason, a guy who may not be a household name, but when he does get a chance to play, outside of one or two bonehead things he teams to come up at a time where we need it. And instincts and being able to understand the moment is just something you cannot teach, right? You just try to find the best ways to utilize guys, and so they help you win, right? So in that room, I figure you get Edgerrin James Edgerrin Cooper. I said Edgerrin James, Edgerrin Cooper because but it didn't pan out like that, right? So let's see what they still do. They might still add something to that room. Um, the cornerback room is another room that's been a hot button topic, right? DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, Industry Sports, streaming on multiple media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Follow us on IG at Industry Sports or at DeeTrynt. If you missed the live recordings, please follow us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Radio Public. Follow Industry Sports, share, like, subscribe. And then when you get on there, you will see one of the shows, Game Changer Sports Talk Industry with DeeTrynt. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe, like, share with that as well. Right now, we're talking about the Browns going over the draft as it's going into day 3, the last rounds of the draft. The Browns have already made one selection today, which is Jeremy Thrash, receiver from Louisville, 6', 188, position rate 22nd. And he was like 140 overall. Again, adding to a receiver room for offense that is now converting into a spread type of offense. And for those that don't know, who asks about, and I'm gonna get back to the cornerback in a hot button second, in the hot button topic of the cornerbacks in a second, right? But speaking on this offense, if you don't know, Alex Van Pelt went elsewhere, and I don't think there's no knock on Alex Van Pelt in my opinion. I just think when you get Deshaun Watson, the way you play offense changes, and that's including for Nick Chubb, right? A guy who's been a staple. Things happen for a reason. Unfortunately, he was out. He had a gruesome injury, and he's most likely going to return in some capacity, right? But we're not going to be able to lean on him like that. So having Deshaun Watson and still having the threat of a Nick Chubb at some point, bodes well. But now that changed the way you play offense. Now you got to play more of a passing game, right? And that's what a lot of people want to see from the Browns, right? Can the Browns have a dynamic passing game that threatens people, right? While still being able to run the ball in a division that mandates that you run the ball, right? So, Ken Dorsey is a guy who knows how to run out of shotgun and spread type things, teach the receivers how to be able to run routes that complement what this system does and how it helps the quarterback out.
Did you hear Deshaun Watson on that QB Unplugged?
So I did not hear it yet. I seen it, I shared it, but I didn't sit down and actually dissect it myself yet because I seen that one, and I seen that one going around, and there was another.
You seen a little clip though
with him and Avery.
Yeah.
I follow them. I follow both of them on Twitter, on X and shit. So
did you see the clip? So you seen?
I didn't. That's what I was saying. I didn't listen to it yet though.
Want me to throw it on?
Yeah, throw it on. Yeah, we can listen to it right now. Hell yeah. Shout out to the engineer, InDaStreetzSportz engineer, you know what I'm saying, founder, creator, you know what I'm saying, coming in with the hot button information. So me, I haven't dissected and sit down yet, but we can do it together as a unit, right? Because, you know, people talk a lot about Deshaun Watson not playing enough for their liking, and you know, in the times that he played, it don't look like him and Kevin Stefanski got a lot of chemistry, and like they could really do something with the offense. You know, the receivers that we think gonna blossom, they ain't really blossoming like that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, bro, we ain't even had a chance yet. I think a lot of Browns fans are impatient, and I don't say that in a negative connotation or any type of way. I'm just calling a spade a spade. We hunger for respect for a team for a city that is a football town, for a team that has a city that has a really good history when it comes to the olden days, and now in more of the modern days, we've really been reserved as a joke. I mean, just be honest. You know what I mean? So, you know, a lot of us fans, we hunger to see a dominant team. We want to see a team that could win multiple championships. Because then once we win multiple championships, we don't got to hear nobody else try to talk crazy about the Browns. Just like you used to talk crazy about the Cavs, right? And then the Cavs went to all them finals and they went against their Rome, and we got the most greatest championship in basketball history. So even if we only got one basketball championship, that one championship is worth multiple teams one championship combined. It's worth a lot of players multiple championships in their career. That one, just the way it happened, is significant. So nobody could never talk stuff about the Cavs, because when they say, oh, y'all only got one championship, we got the one. We got the one that probably will never be repeated in history. We beat the best record team in history, 73-9. They had us down 3-1, and we came back and beat them in their house for the ship. Nobody's ever done that in history. We're the team. So R1 means something. The Browns winning one Super Bowl, just one, it impacts the players on that team legacy beyond comprehension. They will forever be legends for even getting a chance, let alone succeeding of bringing a championship to a Cleveland Browns franchise. Okay, this is pinnacle. This is mountaintop type stuff, right? So let's get into this. Deshaun Watson, discuss him and Quincy Avery discussing him, his thoughts on where he's at and how he's going to perform in the next season.
What's crazy?
Tell me something that's great. Wait. Make sure that this thing's recorded. Make sure we get this on the Instagrams. Tell me what's crazy.
Yeah, the shoulder feeling real good, man. Like 40 yards on the line too. You know what I'm saying? And like with some velocity, and you know, it's the first time I'm really speaking on it like that. You know, but I think people should hear it, especially the ones that are looking forward to, you know, my season this year, you know, in a positive way. So
I'm so glad that you just said that, because I watched your answer you gave at what was that, OTAs or whatever it's called?
Oh, the first interview?
The answer you gave I was so confused. It could be sooner than later. It could be later than sooner. It'll just be sometime. Man, what did this dude just say? Because I'm confused. That is the most murky shit I've ever heard. I feel like somebody just told Deshaun, hey, fam, just say anything. Bet I can say less.
I just made it up on the fly, bro.
Hey, B, I got you.
Man, you know, it's just one of those things where it's kind of like, so when I walk into interviews, the room is just kind of like, I feel the vibe and the energy. And like, if the energy is not right, then that's just how the interview is going to be. And maybe that can be bad on me, but you know, over the past couple of years, that's just how I am. So it's just kind of like, I'm always about positive energy. So I'm going to give you what you're giving me. And in that case, it was just kind of like, look, I know what y'all trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Like the energy's not good. I don't feel like speaking on it, so I'm just gonna give you some wild answer and you figure it out.
I'm gonna give you some advice as your friend, your brother. From now, we gonna just change the energy in the room. You gonna give him
For
the
sure.
real Deshaun. I feel like everybody else gets to see the real Deshaun. Man, go to the interview. I don't care if y'all about to be whatever. Fuck it. I'm about to give y'all the real me. Y'all gonna
No,
enjoy.
that's real.
Y'all gonna enjoy this interview because I'm here, and you
No,
gonna
that's
enjoy.
real.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
'Cause
yeah.
I
And
want
think
everybody to know the same dude I know. So
Yeah.
they see this on YouTube. I feel like they get to see you. But fuck it. There's people who don't watch the show. They don't watch YouTube. Who might not get to see it and they watch on Twitter. Man, let them folks. Man, hey, we gonna kill these folks with confidence this year, and that's what we
Nah, for
standing
sure.
on. So
Yeah, and I'm getting back to that for sure. So it's just definitely I appreciate that, and I'm gonna take that advice, especially for the next interview. Smile, do what I do. I'm in a good space. I'm in a great space. I'm confident. I'm happy. Glad we're met. And yeah, I think people should feel that. And if you don't like it, then
boy, yeah.
you feel it.
Okay then, okay then. Look at Deshaun. You know what I'm saying? Deshaun Watson, man, just learning how to be more open to his fans in the media, right? You know, and that's virtually what I grasped from the conversation, right? You know, taking the advice of letting people more in on what's going on and not allowing what everything that has been happening to take away from who he is as a person and his personality, and that's good. It takes a minute to get comfortable with overcoming all the criticism and things like that. So shout out to Deshaun Watson, Quincy Avery for the podcast and what they doing. And I want to see Deshaun Watson open up more too. I want to see him be able to feel comfortable with just being able to move around the city at will. Right? He just opened up the little food spot, Cleveland Cheesecakes. I ain't been over there yet, but I'm gonna definitely go check it out. See what he got going on. A lot of people have been there. So you might know somebody who's already checked it out. I haven't heard a bad review from it at all yet. So I take that as a good sign that I haven't heard anything bad about it. But he's tapping in. He's trying to tap in, man. Look, I don't think Watson is going anywhere. I think in his mind, at this current moment, he plans on being a Cleveland Brown for the foreseeable future, right? And I mean foreseeable future is like the next 7 or 8 years, right? So that's definitely goes into another contract. I think this is a big year for them, him and Stefanski personally, not just as a Cleveland Browns franchise wise, but just them respectively as two individuals and where they're at in their roles of their football careers. I think this is a very important season for them. This will separate them from mediocrity or above average to potentially legendary great status type of years, right? I don't think this is for the Browns franchise. I don't believe this is a Super Bowl or bust year. I believe that this is a cement the foundation year, right? And what do I mean by cement the foundation? I mean, this is a year where you have to do things that let people know that you're here, right? Like win your division. I think that's the number one thing. The Browns in Kevin Stefanski's 10 years, many times they've won double digit games in a year. They have never won the division. I think that is something they have to do. I think you have to win the conference, right? In the regular season, right? That's another checklist they haven't done. Win back to back to back to back games, right? Can we see them run off a 7, 8, 9 game winning streak, right? And sustain? Can they have a offense that has continuity and an identity? We know for a fact they can attack from here, here, and here. However, they choose to attack from here and here. When they do this, this, and this is why they're effective, right? This is what we're looking for. So I don't think this is a make or break year in that sense, right? I feel like they just need to establish themselves, right? This is to get in the foundation, completing the foundation, establish themselves. You have stars at all the important positions, right? What's the important positions? Quarterback, receiver, running back, tight end, offensive line, defensive line, defensive end, linebacker, cornerback, safety. They may not have the kick returner. You know, the kick returner would be nice. They don't have that, I don't think, but they potentially might, right? They got Naeem Hines. They brought back Prochet. You never know what they might still could do with Elijah Moore, because I've always felt like Elijah Moore should be a returner. Um, Jerome Ford could do it. You don't know, right? They did not pick a running back yet, right? I mean, it's still early in the draft, picks coming off and things like that, but they ain't picking running back. We was looking at some Michael Hall footage, and Michael Hall look all right, right? Quick off the ball, shifty. Seems like he's pretty good with his hands. Seems like he can get really strong. So that might be, look. It seems too also, since they ain't taking no linebacker, that they probably believe in Bush and Hicks, which quite a few people was telling me. Shout out to my off the clock homies, you know what I'm saying? If you're on Twitter, if you're on X, man, definitely you see them clocks, OTC, you know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all go ahead and follow them, come into them spaces. I feel like, Browns fans have very good forums where people can express themselves, right? I wouldn't call it exceptionally unruly. You know how people get on the internet, but I feel like outside of a lot of other ones I've seen, you're able to articulate yourself. Well, when I say that, that's one of the Facebook ones, but the Twitter one's fire. Like, everybody love the Twitter spaces. When you see them clocks up there, you see my cats up there doing their thing, definitely tap into them. And shout out to, Sports Coffee. Shout out to Gridiron Bullies, you know what I'm saying? A couple other cats that be on there doing their thing. I'll shout y'all on the Twitter spaces too. But these Browns are really in a position to where now they do this, and then now we can start getting into, okay, y'all better start really turning up after this, But they got to win the division first, y'all, and that is directly going to affect the head coach and the quarterback. Can you win a division as a unit, right? Can you win the conference as a unit? Now, winning the division is more of a this year thing. Winning the conference, if y'all do it this year, that's fire. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but more of next year, okay, you win a division, now next year you should be able to contend for the conference type of thing. But even this year, you get to the playoffs, which you should do. I think it's playoff or bust. I'll give you that for some people who putting the pressure on them. I think this team definitely should be in the playoffs, undoubtedly. You know what I'm saying? Like last year, it does not matter what anybody else does. They're going to be in the playoffs regardless. That's a type of energy we won't hear in Cleveland from the fans. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to see what they're going to do, right? Because it's still the off season. They still building, right? So let's get to these cornerbacks, right? Denzel Ward there, Martin Emerson there, Greg Newsome there, Carlton Mitchell still there. They haven't drafted one yet, but they did bring in Justin Hardy, a hometown kid. So, as far as the safety room, right? They brought you got Dale Pitt back, you got Juan Thornhill. They brought back McLeod. You still got Roddy Hickman and DeAnthony Bell. So right now it seems like everything out there is set in stone, right? But a lot of fans that I hear are like, hey, we should trade Newsome. Tell them again. What you say, bro? What you say? Say it again, bro. I want to hear that. Nah, bro. I know that's bro. Why would you trade Newsome? Like, hell, like, why? Where in what realm is this intelligent. Okay. I would rather keep my 3 main cornerbacks and have to keep rotating my substitute quarterbacks, cornerbacks, CBs, cornerbacks, versus keep trying to replace something that I already have. We have 3 cornerbacks under the age of 29 or 28 that all can play at a high level. Why do you need to change anything? Just figure out how to pay them, and you can move the other pieces around until somebody shows up and says that they can take their spot. You don't open up the spot and in hopes that the person that you opened it up for blossom into what you want them to be. That person has to blossom first and push the other person out. That's how it works. Until somebody shows that they are actually better than Newsom, I don't want to hear that. Because everybody who keeps screaming Martin Emerson better than Newsom, we still consider Newsom 2A or 2B. It doesn't matter. And then when Ward not there, who gonna take over Newsom's spot? Because Emerson can't check the people that Ward can check. Not all of them. I wish you would put Martin Emerson on a Tyreek Hill and watch him get murdered all game. Okay? You could get it off with Newsom. Newsom got the foot speed and the twitchiness. He got the length. He may not be as fast as Cheetah. He may not be as physical. But he's going to give you more of a chance than Emerson, because Emerson don't got the foot speed at all. And Denzel Ward be doing his thing on Tyreek, though, for real. You feel me? They still got Jalen Waddle. You're going to put Emerson on Jalen Waddle? Are you crazy? So having versatility within your defensive back room is something that every coach aspires for. Why would you change it? That makes no sense. I have no support of people trying to get rid of Newsom. I don't have nothing against him. I just don't support that cause, right? We need Newsom. We need Emerson. We need Ward. Until people come in and show us that they can actually take those spots, those are their spots. They've earned them. That's their spots. They've earned them already, right? Grant Delpit has earned his spot. I don't be mad when people say Juan Thornhill is in question, right? Because he has the resume, but here he hasn't necessarily solidified as like, okay, that's the free safety. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it could be an adjustment thing. He didn't really get to play all of last year, and he damn sure didn't get to play all of last year healthy. So, I reserve judgment until I see how he is this year. A lot of it I reserve overall judgment on because I want to see how it is in year 2. You got to be kind. You got to be continuous. You do it 1 year, you got to do it the next year too, to let people know you're not playing. When you do it in year 3 following those 2 years, then people understand that this is a mainstay. This is what it is from this point forward. And this is the part that the Browns are not at yet, right? They're still trying to finalize the foundation, finalize their identity, finalize the core pieces that make their identity what it is. On offense, for sure, because on defense, they just about figured this out. DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, InDaStreetzSportz, streaming live from Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You see the link in the chat from wherever you at. Feel free to come on up, holla at us. You know what I'm saying? Give us your thoughts on the draft and things like that. I've been talking Browns. Let's talk about a little bit about the first round, right? Caleb Williams goes number 1 to the Bears, right? Now, the Bears have made some moves. They got some more pieces to go with Caleb Williams over there. So he's in a better position than Justin Fields is, who got traded to the Steelers for a 6th-round pick, which is mind-boggling. You say, what, Justin Fields going to be gas over there? Yeah, so do you think Justin Fields will take over Russell Wilson this year? You got to speak up.
It's a possibility.
Say it's possible. So you think Russell at the end of his rope?
Almost.
Almost.
He didn't formulate the normal Russell.
Man, I'm not counting them Denver years.
Say, you got to.
No.
It's all the same.
Man, them shitty ass.
It's part of your career.
Them garbage coaches he had over there.
It's part of your career.
Man, that's crazy.
We had this debate with Peyton Manning and fucking Tom Brady all the time.
Man.
It's part of your career.
Man, that's wild. That he over there in this dysfunction.
I mean, I think he should say. I don't think they should start him. He should go behind Russell for at least another year, just to learn from him.
Russell only there for like 2 years, I think.
I'm just saying, he gotta learn. He need to learn from him.
That makes sense.
He's a great teacher for him. I tell you that.
He is a great teacher for him. So the Bears got Caleb, right? And I think Caleb gonna be good. I like Caleb.
Man, my nigga just needed a line in the Bears. He would have had a line. He would have been
and the Bears still don't got no line.
And that's what it's fucking up at.
They still don't got no line.
You just drafting quarterbacks if you ain't got no protection for them.
I feel that. You definitely can't draft without no protection, right? So Jaden Daniels goes number 2 to the Washington Commanders, right? Only player in college football history to throw for 12,000 yards and rush for 3,000 yards. Quick release guy, 6'4", 210. You know, the Commanders probably got something. They already got some pieces and weapons. That defense is coming along. All right. Drake May goes third. 6'4", 223 from North Carolina. He goes to the Patriots. This is the first year without Bill, I believe. Or is Bill still there? I don't think Bill's still there. We got to find out. All right. Marvin Harrison Jr. goes fourth to the Arizona Cardinals, which the Cardinals needed, right? They needed a top-tier receiver. I still think they need a bruiser back to help with Kyler Murray, but hey, right? Offensive tackle Joe Alt from Notre Dame goes fifth to the Chargers. Wide receiver Malik Neighbors from LSU goes to the Giants. J.C. Latham, offensive tackle from Alabama, goes to the Titans. Michael Penix Jr., quarterback from Washington, goes to Atlanta at 8. Now, this was a hot button topic. Oh, Michael Penix was the second-round grade, maybe even third round. But he was a Heisman Trophy candidate. You got to make this make sense. Why do y'all keep trying to do black quarterbacks like that? I don't want to hear all this. Y'all be picking and choosing, right? Stop playing crazy, okay? Michael Penix Jr. goes to Atlanta, where he has Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts. Oh, they just gave Kirk Cousins $180 million. Well, if you understand NFL contracts, do you know that he got $90 million signing bonus? So he has $90 million this year, right? He only gets $10 million guaranteed next year. So he gets $100 million in the first 2 years of the contract, which is $50 million a year for a quarterback, which is standard right now, right? Especially for Kirk Cousins, who's consistent, right? If he's nothing else, he's consistent. But the other 2 years of the deal, it's not even a guarantee he gets there, right? They probably are going to lose draft picks for tampering with him. So this is probably the only time they're going to have a first-round pick, and next year's quarterback pool might not be that good. Why not draft your successor to the guy that you're going to lose in a couple of years anyway? Kirk Cousins is mad. I don't care that Kirk Cousins is mad because Kirk Cousins don't run a team. Kirk Cousins is coming over there to do a job. You're going to let this young man learn up under you and learn how to play the NFL game from that position because you can at least teach him that, right? And you're going to still do your thing. And guess what? You're not going to play football forever. Somebody's going to play quarterback after you. So leave your legacy like that. hey, I came over here, help improve this team, and allowed this young guy to mature and become something. So I left him in good hands. That's good leadership, in my opinion. But I don't mind Atlanta making that pick. You have to complete something. Now you have a star running back, a potentially star quarterback, a potentially star receiver, and a potentially star tight end. I think somebody's looking at the Browns playbook, but hey, that's just me, right? The defense is getting better. They made substantial signings last year. I think some of those guys they brought back already. And, you know, I think Atlanta's in good hands. Romeo Aduze, the receiver of Michael Penix, goes next to the Bears. So the Bears get their number one quarterback. They already had DJ Moore. They get a Duze, and they got another receiver that they got too this offseason. So they setting, like I said, they setting Caleb up pretty well. JJ McCarthy goes to the Vikings here at number 9. I mean, at number 10. I think this was a trade up from 11 with the Jets. Then the Jets take offensive tackle Olu Fashanu from Penn State. Bo Nix, quarterback from Oregon, goes 12 to the Broncos. Brock Bowers, tight end from Georgia, goes 13 to the Raiders. Talis Fuaga goes 14th. Oregon State 14th. He goes to the Saints. Liatu Latu, Edge, UCLA, goes to the Colts. Byron Murphy II, defensive tackle, goes to Seattle. Dallas Turner, Edge from Alabama, goes to the Vikings. Amirius Mims, offensive tackle, goes from Georgia, goes to the Bengals. Jared Verse, Florida State Edge, goes to the Rams. Troy Fautanu, offensive guard from Washington, goes to the Steelers. Chop Robertson, 21, Penn State, goes to the Dolphins. Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback from Toledo, goes 22nd to the Eagles. Brian Thompson Jr., wide receiver, LSU. Hold on one moment, y'all. Give me 1 second. All right, right back, ain't cheating. DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, Industry Sports, doing a little draft coverage, talking about the Browns. I'm at the end, the bottom half of the first round. 23 pick, Brian Thompson Jr., wide receiver, goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Terrion Arnold, cornerback, Alabama, 24, goes to the Lions. Jordan Morgan, offensive tackle, Arizona, 25th, goes to the Packers. Graham Barton, center, Duke, 26, goes to the Buccaneers. Darius Robertson, edge from Missouri, goes 27 to the Cardinals. Xavier Worthy, receiver, Texas, goes 28 to the Chiefs. Tyler Guyton, offensive tackle, Oklahoma, 29th to the Dallas Cowboys. Nate Wiggins, cornerback, Clemson, 30th, goes to the Baltimore Ravens. Ricky Parcell, wide receiver, Florida, 31st to the San Francisco 49ers. And the Panthers traded back into the first round, get the 32th pick, and they acquire wide receiver Xavier Legette from South Carolina. All right. And then in the second round, it got tricky, right? Because a lot of people that Browns fans wanted was coming off, right? And I even said the guy that I wanted, it was a good chance he would come off, right? So Buffalo, who had the last pick and traded, they got Keon Coleman, receiver from Florida State with the 33rd. Lad McConkey from Georgia, wide receiver, went 34th to the Chargers. Rook Hora, defensive tackle, goes to from Clemson, goes 35th to the Falcons. Jerzane Newton, defensive tackle, Illinois, goes 36th to the Commanders. Jalen Polk, wide receiver, Washington, goes 37th to the Patriots. Tavondre Sweat, defensive tackle, Texas, 38th to the Titans. Braden Fisk, defensive tackle, Florida State, 39th to the Rams. Cooper DeJean, cornerback, Iowa, 40th to the Eagles. Kool-Aid McKinstry, cornerback, Alabama, goes 41st to the Saints. Kamari Lassiter, cornerback, Georgia, goes 42nd to the Texans. Max Melton, cornerback, Rutgers, 43rd to the Cardinals. Jackson Powers Johnson, center, Oregon, 44th to the Raiders. Edgerrin Cooper, linebacker, Texas A&M, 45th to the Packers. Jonathan Brooks, running back, Texas, 46th to the Panthers. Last one was Packers. This one was Panthers, if that didn't come through clear. Tyler Nubin, safety, 47th, goes to the Giants. Mason Smith, defensive tackle, LSU, 48th to the Jaguars. Chris Jenkins, defensive tackle, Michigan, 49th to the Bengals. Mike Sanrestiel, cornerback, Michigan, to the Commanders. Zach Frazier, center, West Virginia, goes 51st to the Steelers. Adonai Mitchell, receiver, Texas, 52nd to the Colts. Ben Sinnott, tight end, 53rd to the Washington Commanders. And that's when the Browns picked Michael Hall Jr., 54th, defensive tackle, O State. Patrick Paul, offensive tackle, Houston, goes to the Dolphins. Marshawn Nealon, edge, goes to Dallas. And, once I got to the Browns, I was really kind of through with it. I just wanted the people to see, what the Browns were looking at when they came up on their picks. A lot of people, I seen people mention tight end. Some of us mention running back. A lot of people mention receivers. Some mention defensive back. I heard one of a few people mention defensive tackle. I feel like they got it right. Shout out to the homie for getting it right about the defensive tackle the morning that we was talking about this on the Twitter space with OTC, right? So the Browns did pretty good right now, right? I like where it's going. I'm really more interested to see which guys mature from last year, right? I want to see the progression of Dale Pitt and how Juan Thorhill fits more into the scheme, right? I want to see year 2 of Zadarius Smith and Myles Garrett, right? Year 2 with Dalvin Thomas and Okoronkwo, right? Year 2 of Siaki Ika. Can he turn out to be a run stuffer, right? Mo Hurst showed flashes until he got hurt. Let's see what he can do. Shelby Harris, the veteran, okay? But Michael Hall has a chance to come in and really make an impact, right? On that offensive line, we had we had three offensive tackles out last year, right? Conklin was out, DeJuan Jones was out, Jed Wills was out, right? In my opinion, they should make Conklin the backup swing tackle and start Wills and DeJuan, right? And then you can come off the bench, a rotation lineman with Weipler, Conklin. It would be then at that point. You still got Hudson, and then you just drafted Zenter. So I think that would be a nice little rotation line. You have a swing tackle, you have virtually a swing guard and a center who can swing the guard, and you'll still have a Hudson who's virtually a swing tackle as well, right? And whatever you add from that, it's about 9 pieces. Whatever you add from that, that'll be cool, right? So with the wide receiver room, you add the Thrash. He goes with the Cooper and a newly acquired Judy and a Moore and a Tillman and a Bill. And the Woods will be returning. And, they'll bring some guys back. I mean, Prochet down there, but I don't think Prochet will crack a rotation receiver role. He'll probably be more of a gadget guy. But maybe they think Jeremy Thrash could do that. Maybe Jeremy Thrash might be the kick returner. You never know until we get the OTAs. They still have picks in this draft. I haven't seen anybody get picked in the 6th round yet. Let's see. Okay. They're in the 6th round. All right. So the Browns have not picked yet. The Browns are still about 9 or 10 picks away. But I ain't going to lie, y'all. I got some other things I got to do today, so I most likely am not going to stay on that much longer. Matter of fact, we're probably going to end this right now. DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, Industry Sports, streaming from multiple media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Follow us on Instagram at Industry Sports or at DeeTrynt. If you missed the live recordings, please follow us, subscribe, like, share on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and various other podcast streaming platforms. Just look for the Industry Sports channel, like, subscribe, share, and there you'll find Game Changer Sports Talk with DeeTrynt. You can like, subscribe, share to that as well. We have the InDaStreetzSportz.com sports article page where you can find the latest information and things like that from there. You can also email us at DeeTrynt@gmail.com or InDaStreetzSportz@gmail.com if you have a particular athlete or something that you would like to get spotlighted at a school, an event, or things like that. We can put something together and get some coverage over there. All right. It was a pleasure rocking with y'all. It's been a minute. We was able to do some football and basketball today, but we'll get back together soon and cover some more stuff as well. DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk. We'll holler at y'all in a second.